What is going on, everybody? It is Sean, or the Armchair Coach, and today we are back on College Football 27 already. I had so much fun in the last episode, I decided I had to come back immediately because I think we need some redemption. I got really excited about the prospect of playing Akron with the debut of our true freshman quarterback. As you can see in our depth chart, we have moved James Hand up to that number one position, and we are going to let him take the reins for the first time today. I'm a little bit nervous about the prospect of how this could turn out, but it can't be much worse than how Devin Gardner's performed. A sub 6, we are 4 games into the season. You would think most, well, actually, let's take a look. Let me be incredibly specific when I talk about how bad it's been for our big transfer quarterback that we were super excited to bring in during the offseason. Can we see the national? Okay, so looking at the national stats for this season so far, so we've got some guys that have played 5 games, but for quarterbacks that have played similar games we have quite a few guys who are almost 1,000 yards ahead of where our quarterback has been. I understand we've been a little bit more ground heavy, but we should definitely not be looking at 600 yards through the air so far this season. So, big priority this week is going to be seeing whether or not our true freshman quarterback has anything to offer here against Akron, which should be a very comfortable and easy game for him to get his feet under him in our system. Akron, a team that is 0-3 so far this season. It's our last out-of-conference game for the year. And Akron is historically a program that is FCS light, if you will. They are about as low of an FBS opponent as you can play without playing an FCS opponent. So, really want to be able to come out here and put up a good performance. I know we've got some recruits visiting. Let me check here. We've got... Okay, Demetrius Hester is ready for a visit. Yeah, so we've got Jawan Mayer coming this week. We have... I think Gregory Fala is coming this week as well. And Ezekiel Davis. So we have 3 guys that are going to be in attendance at this game. So we can't afford to come out and have a bad performance. Now, recruiting-wise, we have 135 hours. And we get that back after we had to spend it on some visits last week. But we will have to spend it on at least one visit here for Demetrius Hester. And we definitely don't want to bring him in on a bye. So I think we just bring him in on this Memphis game as soon as we can, get him in on his deal breaker pitch, which is also coincidentally our best pitch for him. And we will also put the sell down and start closing out his recruitment. Now, let's make sure that we are not getting snuck up on any guys that we took hours off of. Now that we have hours back, I can go ahead and put some more down on Cornell Bowie. But everybody else here... Okay, so Tony Davis now got an offer, so we do fall a little bit there. That's fine with me. We're going to go ahead and throw down a scholarship offer with the 5 NIL like we've done for everybody else. And we'll go ahead and throw 25 points down to start winning that battle if we can. So, let's see. Everyone else. Jawan Mayer, we're still looking in good shape for... he's coming this week, right? So hopefully with a good visit. Oh, we've got the wrong cell. Good thing we checked that, because I forgot that we were shooting in the dark for his pitch. So it still could be campus personality, or it could be... Or is that it? Is it campus personality? Alright. That's fine. Campus personality, I think, is a decent sell for us, so I think we can make up some ground on Army. Hey... If you don't want to potentially be on the front lines in the potential war that we are getting closer and closer to every day, it seems like, come play for UTSA. Don't have to worry about absorbing bullets. And everybody else, so far, it looks like we're in good shape. For anybody we have pulled the points on that we need to worry about, I think no. And we did get a hard commit from Antoine Slater, so that is some points back that we don't need to worry about. And this recruitment in particular is satisfying to win because we were going up against Cal with a 4-star pipeline. And I think in particular for me, that feels really awesome because I can remember in 26 and 25, it felt like if you were going up against a team with a better pipeline than you, the recruitment was over from the jump. So it's nice to see, I think, with this game between the NIL and some of the other bonuses with recruit visits and how the pitches are working now, you can see that you can kind of overcome that a little. So nice win in recruitment for us, and I think we're in good shape for everybody else. So we still have 70 hours left. Do I focus on recruiting anybody else? I mean, we only have our specialists unrecruited. Theoretically, I could try to do add 2 players to the board and fully scout them. And then if they have no offers, I can just throw them 5 recruiting hours like we did for Cornell Bowie, and then up their pitches next week when we have some hours back. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'll take a look at the prospect list here, see who we can add that has no offers, and I'll come back when we have them added to our board. Okay, so I have added 2 players to our board here. We've added Matt Herbig, who's from Hialeah, Florida, and we have added David Ankra from Kokomo, Indiana. I'm just thinking Beach Boys in my head. But anywho, so we've got both of them on our board, and we're going to go ahead and scout them fully and cross our fingers and hope to die that they are not busts. I will tell you, Matt Herbig looks pretty good right now with what we've got scouted. I love how my game hesitates just a little bit for dramatic effect on the last time I scout. He's not a gem, but honestly, I think he's looking pretty decent for a 3-star. 80 speed. Wow, broken record there for a second. 80 speed, 88 strength. His man and zone coverage numbers are exactly the same, but very low. But once again, I like to turn these Will and Sam linebackers into edge rushers once I develop them. So the tackling stats look pretty good. I think we can definitely work with that. So he's got no offers right now. So we're going to go ahead and just throw the 5 hours on him. And David Ankra is the other player I added. He expects 20 NIL. But we're in a little bit of an interesting situation with him because NC State is coming after him. They've offered him a scholarship, and they have a pretty decent pipeline. However, he's got no other offers. I think I'm going to have to shuffle around hours, perhaps. Maybe take just a little bit off of a guy. But I think we send him a scholarship once we scout him, and then we put... Obviously, we sent him a little bit of a bigger offer, so he's more interested. And then once we get the hours off of somebody else, we put a big pitch on him so we can maybe sneak into his top 5. Because it looks like we might have a little bit of time before NC State reaches the top 5 to kind of sneak in there. So we're going to go ahead and adjust that or let's go ahead and scout him first, actually. Let's see if we're making a huge mistake. His awareness is really low. That's a little concerning. The pass rush moves don't look too bad, but he is a bust. Okay. So, gotta hit a pivot here. We can't afford to add a bust. Even if it means we can't necessarily scout them this week. I'm going to take a look, because if we look here, I'll actually show you guys. It's been a little bit of a struggle. I'm leaving that Mike linebacker spot open because I think we can bring in a transfer guy, fill that team need, and also have a guy that can make an impact right away like Carson Wise has in some sense. But defensive tackle is not a position where there are a lot of guys who don't expect NIL. Looking down at the bottom of the 3-star pool here, We can see that there are a few guys, but it's a little too late for us to hop in on those recruitments. We've obviously got Alex Rhodes on our board already, and David Ankra was the next best option at 20. If we wanted to add a defensive tackle in this prospect pool at this point, we would have to go after someone like Cortland Candidate here, and he's got no offers right now, but he's also expecting 70 NIL. So that's expensive for the amount of NIL we have left right now. So I think at this point what the priority is going to be and what it should be is seeing if we can maybe find a free safety instead, because we need to fill 3 holes there. So let me look at the free safeties real quick and see if there's any cheap options left for us to take a look at. So in the free safety class, there are 2 options. There's Mike Waitman. He expects 15 NIL. He's from Lancaster, PA. And we also have Nick Madden here from Honolulu, Hawaii. He totally looks like it. But he also expects 0 NIL. Neither one of them has offers. We don't have a pipeline for either. But I think we're going to go ahead and add Nick Madden. We're gonna pray that he's not a bust. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. We're gonna throw some hours on him this week. Once we get some hours back next week, we'll go ahead and We'll go ahead and scout him out and see if we're making a mistake here. But man, I was really hoping we were gonna get a decent prospect with that, but it's all right. The rest of the recruiting class, I think, right now looks really good. We're just waiting on, I think, a couple of visits. And once we get those visits in, I think we'll be in good shape. So it's time for this Akron game. What do we want to wear? Big debut game for our true freshman quarterback. I think we go with the blackout. Does Akron have like a whiteout option? So we've got the black versus white. Do they have a... They do not have like a blackout of the stadium option for this uniform, but that's okay. So it's time to hop in. How will James Hand perform in his first game against a team he should be able to put up a pretty dominant performance against? We see our UTSA Roadrunners coming out the tunnel as the Roadrunner dances. Coach Chair is putting his reputation on the line today. The Akron Zips are 0-3. We are struggling so far this year. We've made a change at quarterback. Will it be the difference? We are already being thrust into a defensive moment here today. 3rd and 8, and we need to make a stop. Defense has had to make a lot of stops so far this year. Do not like that. They're going to snap the ball and hand it off, and despite us not having anybody in that area, we still do make a stop. I can't believe that there was so much space there for him to run. They're going to leave the offense out there on 4th and 2 and go for it. This is horrifying. Will we be able to make a stop here? No. They dump the ball off immediately, and we are not able to stop them on 4th. They are still pushing the ball down or even if it is very slowly. We find them here on 3rd down. Again, 3rd and 4. They're going to snap and look to throw again. Trying to play the middle of the field as well as we can, and we are finally able to get the pressure through. Collins Achimpong, who's been out for a while, making a play and maybe redeeming himself a little. Every sack he makes, I get a little bit less mad at him. And they do get a field goal on that drive. Offense hasn't done so much so far. We're still in the first quarter. We find ourselves in a 3rd and 1 on Akron's side of the field. We're going to hand off to DeForest Jones, and there's a big hole. He's going to spin, and we are going to pick up the 1st down. Can the offense make something on this drive? I see another big pass. We have not seen much through the passing game so far this year, so James Hand may be putting up a pretty decent performance to start the game. We're going to hand off to DeForest Jones again here as we are inside the red zone. Nothing on that one. However, I want to see if we can maybe pick up something through the passing game here. We've got a quarterback who's got more arm talent on his side this time. Maybe we can zip something in there for James Madison just like that. UTSA on the board. Roadrunner touchdown. James Madison, who's become the go-to guy so far this year, once again stepping up, making a big play. He can really get some separation. And James Hand with the throw power. Look at that beautiful spiral. Have not seen much of that so far, but we do pick up a score. So 7-3 Roadrunners as we are now back in the red zone. So maybe a quick turnover here as we are on the 19-yard line with a first down. We are going to look for the read option. I don't see a read guy, so maybe we just... Oh, okay. Maybe we should have pulled it because they brought the blitz, and oh no. DJ Dugar Jr. hurt on that play. We do not want to see that. So, a little bit of concern now here on 2nd and 11. Time running out here in the first quarter. We're going to drop back to pass again. They're going to play man coverage, but Hand is going to step up and Superman dive. I can't understand how to get off of the Superman dive. I feel like every time I've tried to slide so far. The headless fans are appearing, popping in slowly. But first quarter complete, and we are already almost at 100 yards through the air in this game. I think we are already seeing some improvement in the passing game. First and goal. Tavoris Jones in the backfield still. We're going to hand it off to him, and he is going to bring it down inside the goal line for another Roadrunner touchdown. This game already off to a hot start. Can the offense sustain this rhythm? We got to keep the foot on the gas pedal as Akron, I saw a huge run. The run defense is a little bit concerning. I've seen a lot of big runs get ripped off so far this year. We're going to hand off for a run of our own inside the red zone again as Tavoris Jones will get us inside the, is it the 5? The 10. We're inside the 10 now. 2nd and 2. Let's see if we can get something quick here through the passing game. Maybe we send our tight end on a little speed out here. I don't see anything doing. We're going to just toss it up quickly for Madison, and he is able to hold on through the contact. And it is now 1st and goal on the 6-yard line. Nice to see that DJ Dugar Jr. is back in the backfield on this play. And he is going to receive the handoff in this play. And he's going to find some space and find the end zone. Roadrunner offense, we are finding some success today. Oh, and we get another quick touchdown there. Maybe a turnover as Akron gets another huge run. I do not like it. And we are seeing sim football right now as Akron has brought the game back to being close. 8-point game now, but we do find ourselves 1st and goal from very close. And we're just going to hand it to Tavoris Jones, and he's going to rush it inside to a touchdown. 2 touchdowns today for Tavoris Jones at least, and the Roadrunners are putting points up today at a clip we have not seen since the Texas game last year. So now a big 4th and 4 on Akron's 30. Let's see if we can get some heat inside. We know they're passing the football. They've got to find some points down late as Carson Wise is lurking for the big interception. Defense stepping up in a big way here late. And with 5 minutes to go, we have a chance to maybe secure the blowout bonus. It is 3rd and 8. We've got to get something here. Maybe we run a little bit of play action. We should have set up the run really well in this game with the talent we've got, but they're bringing a cornerback blitz, and I can't avoid it. Oh, the perfect time for them to bring the cornerback on the blitz. It's convenient how scripted that feels in a way. But 4th and 26 now for them. They're in desperation mode, and they're going to throw it up. And, oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Okay, Zach Williams. So Zach Williams, who is the big transfer safety we've brought in, is making play after play. That hit was diabolical. That man got the same kind of treatment whoever Major Elam hit in that old Florida game. As we are going to throw a quick one out here to Parker Fulgham, and he is going to score. So maybe the blowout bonus is secured here as 3 minutes remain on the clock. We now are up 49-27 late. They are going for it on fourth down here. It looked a little bit rough for a little bit touch and go there for a hot minute, but we find ourselves in a good position now late. We've got to play some tight defense, and they are throwing the ball deep, and we are able to knock the ball away, and we are now back on offense. The goal here is to close out the game, but we got to get a first down to be able to do that. So let's try to get something out here to James Madison, the go-to guy this year, as he is wide open on that out route that we audibled him to, and we do pick up the first down. And inside the red zone here, we are able to just run out the clock as the 2-minute warning arrives. All things said, I think we have looked at the debut of the future of this program. These next 3 conference games are the true barometer of what kind of talent we have. How is he going to play as we hand off to DeVorest Jones for another touchdown? Akron is getting the belt today. Unfortunately for them, we've got to put up this kind of performance for the recruits that are watching, and hopefully they are loving every second. But the next 3 games against conference opponents are really going to test what we've got here in the quarterback room. So we are going to enjoy every single second of the victory here as we pull away with a 56-27 win. But there are bigger fish to fry here. DJ Dugard Jr. having a monster game today. 10 carries for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's a wild performance. So the money we paid him in NIL to bring him through the transfer portal, well spent. As we see the highlights here. So let's take a look at the stats here once we get through the screen transition and see what kind of game we were looking at from our guys today. So James Hand, the much touted prospect for us last year, had quite the game. 15 of 27 for 186 yards, which is not that many. Decent completion percentage, 2 touchdowns to 1 interception. I think the big difference being the plays he is able to make with the arm talent he's got put us in better positions. So that 186 yards today was a very valuable 186 yards. However, the run game continues to be the dominant force for us. DJ Dugard Jr. having just a MVP performance for us. DeVorest Jones having a pretty decent performance for us as well. They get 10 carries apiece, and they have 6 touchdowns combined. Just a dominant performance all around. In the receiving room, James Madison continues, like I said, to be the go-to guy. 7 catches today for almost 100 yards and a touchdown, and not much else from our guys, unfortunately. Defensively, we had only a few tackles for loss and a couple guys getting some sacks here. Collins and Chimpong getting that big one on 3rd down, reducing my hatred towards him maybe just a smidgen. And with that, we have secured ourselves a big victory for the sake of recruiting and given ourselves even more to think about as far as our QB room. I know Denzel Gardner probably watched that performance and felt very sad that he was not the contributor in that game. So, win under our belt, and it is now time for us to move on to next week. Hopefully we'll be seeing some very exciting news as far as recruiting is concerned. A blowout bonus in that game is huge. And we do, in fact, see some recruitments here. Gregory Fala, the 3-star quarterback from Lima, Ohio, commits. And it's not just a verbal, it is a hard commit. He is hard for UTSA. He is hard committed to UTSA, and we are excited to get him in the room. Only one commitment, though. I was a little hoping to see at least another. However, that's fine. I do see we are in first place for someone we brought in for a visit as they reach their top 3. And we now reach the tough part of these AD expectations. So far, it looks like we have a very positive turnover margin. But the big test remains to be our conference wins. It will heavily impact us if we do not get these 5 conference wins this year. We will be in serious trouble. We're already not very secure in our position, so we have a lot to prove this year. So this is a bye week, so let's just take a quick look at recruiting and see where we stand. We do have some hours to manage here, so let me get my bearings and we'll give you the update here in just a second. Okay, so I have scanned our board and here is the update. So as far as the guys that we have scholarships on, we are still looking in good shape in most of those recruitments. However, as you can see, Cornell Bowie now has 40 NIL on him because Louisville put an offer down on him. So if we are going to get in on him, we're going to need to put some NIL hours down now, and he is not going to be cheap. So we're going to try to be as cheap about it as possible and hope we can get in naturally so I don't have to overpay, because I looked and saw that it would be 80 NIL for us to be able to get him very interested in our offer. So we're going to wait and see. Might have to hit a pivot again there. That'd be very disappointing. A lot of these other guys we are still in good shape on. Okay, so Demetrius Hester had his offer pulled. I love when teams do that. We're still in good shape for everybody else. Once again, Arkansas pulled the offer that Tony Davis had, but that's fine. It's just kind of encouraging us to just go ahead and eat the NIL that we're going to spend on these guys to get them in the building. And I think for everybody else, oh yeah, we do have a couple of other guys that got offers. Devin Tootin picked up an offer from Florida, so we went ahead and offered him a scholarship with some NIL. Greg Robbins also received an offer, so we were going to have to go ahead and throw him some NIL, and I am very worried that we are going up against Michigan in that recruitment. Down the board, obviously, we can see Gregory Fala committed. Ezekiel Davis, we take a huge step up for, so we might be seeing him hit a verbal commit to us soon. And with that, we have 55 hours left. So I think top priority here is looking at Nick Madden, adding him to the board at the end of last week, and after scouting him, it looks like he's actually not that bad. So 25 hours left now. I want to start getting into the top for these guys. So if I take the 5 hours back, that leaves us with 35. So let's go ahead and give these guys 10 each. And we'll just have 5 hours left over this week, unfortunately. But with that, our bye week is finished, so we move on to next week and see how we're looking then. So recruiting update here. As you can see, we are in first for quite a few top prospects, and they are reaching their top 5s this week. So it is a big time for us to be able to pull some of those hours back, because obviously we have 25 down, and we can put the soft sell on and get 5 hours back each. And then as we look, still plenty of players that aren't happy with the way we're playing, and yada yada yada. Everyone wants to transfer always. And 80 expectations, we are still safe for now, but we are coming up against 5-0 Memphis here at home as our second road game, or our second conference game, and our first conference game with James Hand at the helm. So let's set up practice here, and then we'll take a look at recruiting. Okay, so we have done all of the updating as far as what we need to do as far as recruiting. Cornell Bowie had the offer that he just got from Louisville pulled, so we pulled the hours back that we were putting down back as well. We see that Nathan DeLuca now has NIL on him because he just received an offer from TCU, which is fine. 20 NIL isn't that expensive. We are starting to run thin on our NIL budget, which I hate, but I still think once we get to the end of the season and we're seeing who's walking, and now that we have some experience under our belt, we'll be able to recoup some more money. So either way, still in good shape for a lot of other guys. Demetrius Hester we're looking in good shape for. Our kicker, George Nidgeman, ended up getting an offer, so we threw him an offer as well. Tony Davis doesn't have an offer anymore, so we are essentially, we pulled all of the hours on our guys with scholarships that we aren't in any sort of recruiting battle for, so we can keep as many hours in our pocket as possible. And we've put some guys down for visits on week 10, I believe. Devin Tootin, Greg Robbins, and a few others. I think maybe we brought, I can't remember exactly who we're bringing in on week 10, but we are bringing in, I think so far, 3 guys on week 10 against Temple to visit us then. And this week we have, I know, at least a couple guys coming to see us play Memphis. So this is going to be a very big game for us in a lot of senses. So we do have 20 hours left over. I don't know if we do anything with that particularly. We could maybe use it to just go ahead and try to get into these guys' boards. So let me fix their hours, and then it'll be game time against Memphis. Okay, so looking at the overalls here, we are an equally matched set of teams. Memphis has seemed to capitalize on the talent on their roster, whereas we seem to be struggling to make the most of ours. Let's see which team comes out on top today. A big win would be, or a win against this team would be big. So it has been a litany of bad luck at home, I think. As far as we are concerned, anytime we have played a game at home where we feel like we can win, we always lose. So surely today against a team where it might be a little bit tough, we come out and we put up a dominant performance. Psychopathical logic is what's going to win us this football game. Memphis looks ready to play. We are ready to play too. What has James Hand, our true freshman quarterback, got against our his first conference matchup? One of these days I'll say something correctly. We are going to go ahead and kick the football off. Memphis is going to get the ball first today. So already need to step in on a big third down. Memphis driving on their first possession. We're going to be controlling Thurman Sharp here as they fake the snap and then snap. As I'm trying to cover this route over the middle, they're going to dump it off to the curl, and we do, in fact, get the stop there. Are they going to go forward on 4th? It does indeed look like they're going forward on 4th. We are going to bring the pressure. Actually, I do not like that idea, considering the look they're bringing, and it doesn't matter because they didn't even throw that direction. So already Memphis is pushing the ball quite easily on us inside our red zone early in the first quarter. Be a great time for a turnover, but they're going to keep throwing these RPO passes and just eating up small chunks, it seems, as they are running the hurry up now. So definitely probably have a tired defense out there if they've been doing this all quarter. Looks like they're changing the play at the line. And they are going to snap. We're going to try to play that short route, and they're going to step up and scramble, and he's going to dive for the goal line and get in. Touchdown, Memphis. So Memphis already looking like they are going to be a formidable opponent today. But we find ourselves in the red zone here, late in the first quarter. 2nd and 2 opportunity. Once again, we are going to rely on the ground game that has done us so well and get us the first down. We haven't seen James Hand do much in the run game so far. We just haven't had the opportunity to run with him besides on scramble. So let's see if we can get an RP or a read option going. But they are playing him, it seems. We hand off to DeVoris Jones again, and that puts us in a 2nd and 5. I've got a little bit more confidence in our quarterback to maybe throw the ball here, so maybe we give him an opportunity on 2nd and 5. Step back to pass, look for something over the middle, try to fire it in. Parker Fulgham. That speed of Parker Fulgham is not necessarily electric. 86 speed. At some point, maybe I also play with our slot receiver, see if we get someone faster in there, and I try to get the cutback with DeVoris Jones. So 4th and inches as the clock is going to run out on the quarter. This is a big game. We're up against a ranked opponent, a conference opponent, no less. Are we going to settle for 3 on a 4th and inches? I don't think so. As I'm pretty sure I just saw that we only have 8 passing yards this quarter. It's looking pretty brutal in our passing room as we try to get something and they get through in a millisecond. Truly no time to throw the ball. We face a 3rd down again here, and they're giving us the ball. We're going to audible the play here at the line. Didn't realize it was such a 3rd and long. And once again, no time to throw. Yeah, no time to throw simulator is really what I should call this, because that's what it feels like. A 3rd and 5 here. James Madison looks like he got a step on his defender, and we are going to throw it up for him. He's going to go up and get it. How many times is James Madison II going to be that guy? Big play. Quarterback James Hand puts it on the perfect spot for him, I think. It's either he goes up and gets it or it's incomplete, I think, on that play, which we could really use some more of in our passing game, as DJ Dugar is only going to be able to get 2 there. 2nd and 8. We keep pounding the ball on the ground as DJ Dugar is finding some space. And he's going to pick up the 1st down. I don't know about that spot, but once again, I will not complain if it benefits me. 1st down inside the 10. See if we can get something going on the RPO here. And we're going to hand off to DeVoris Jones, and he'll get it inside the 5 now. And let's just keep the ball on the ground. Last thing we want here is a turnover inside the red zone. We've already had a drive come away with nothing. We're now in a 3rd and goal situation where it might not be a choice. So 3rd and goal. Let's see if we can get something. I don't see anything through the air, but just like Denzel Gardner was able to do, James Hand can also step up and run the ball in. Touchdown Roadrunners. And this game is tied up with just about 2 minutes to go in the 1st half. And with 55 seconds to go, we are going to be pressed to make a big stop here on 3rd down. Clock running. Memphis maybe trying to get something before the end of the half as they take a timeout. Let the clock run before they did that, and that seems kind of wasteful. So once again, going to try to come out on 3rd down and make the stop. In the shotgun, what are they going to run? Are they going to try to pick it up with the pass? They dump it down on a screen, and still not particularly happy with the tackling effort of our defense there, but we do indeed make the stop. However, it still looks like this Memphis offense is going to stay out. But are we going to stuff them on 4th? We sure do. So, big play from the defense there. Not folding to this Memphis offense that has had so much success to start this year, it seems. But once again, we are on the ropes here in the 3rd quarter. 3rd and 4. Big stop is necessary as we get the pressure. And despite the fact that our cornerback was there for the ball, we cannot play it, it would seem. Their wide receiver must have had better position than us. So Memphis inside the red zone again. And with the blitz, we are able to put the quarterback down. Carson Wise screaming into the backfield. 2nd and goal now. We're going to expect a run again, but I don't want to get caught off guard. So they are going to run a pass. They'll dump it off to the running back, and it's a fumble. Collins and Chimpong forces the fumble and gets the recovery. We're square. We're square, Collins. We're square. You've done it. You've managed to redeem yourself fully. So, big stop there. Offense is not able to capitalize. The Memphis defense playing tough football. Our defense playing tough football. Who is going to fold first in this game? 3rd and 9 for Memphis. They're looking to pass. Playing man coverage. We're there, but their receiver jumps in front for the touchdown. Oh my goodness. We were in position to make that play. Time the catch, but their tight end just jumps in front and snags it for a touchdown. What is that catch animation? So Memphis takes the lead here late in the game, and once again the offense still not able to go down and score. Oh man, this is brutal. Where's the offensive moments? Where's our chance to help our offense out at all? And it looks like Memphis is once again pushing the ball into our red zone. Time is running out for us to get back in this game. We have to probably at this point get a turnover, if anything, as Chauncey Logan, the defensive tackle we brought in through the transfer portal, is hurt. But time's running out. And at this point, if we are going to have any chance, I think we have to walk away with a turnover on this drive, which with them keeping the ball on the ground like this, it might be difficult to do that. It is 3rd down. They are in the shotgun, maybe looking to pass. No, they will run the option, and their quarterback was bouncing off tackles like Cam Newton. We will make the stop. They're going to bring the field goal unit out here on 4th. At this point now, it's a block or nothing, and their kicker puts it through, so it's a 17-7 game. And we find ourselves with 4th and inches on our own 35. I see them playing press coverage. We're going to go give James Madison a chance again. And they knock it out. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So offense just isn't producing anything, and I don't know what it's going to take. Maybe we have to evaluate our playbook and make a change there at this point. I don't know what it will take. I mean, Memphis is a good football team, or at least they're equal apparently in talent to us if we're looking at the same overall, but if that's the case, then why are we only putting up 7 points in this game? If that's the case, why are we struggling so hard on offense? I mean, only giving up... I mean, we do get the stop there on 4th, but... You know, only giving up 17 defensively, I think, is a pretty solid performance. So, at the end of the day... okay. I try to roll out and make a play there with James Hand, and nothing's going on. So, time's running out on the game. Not much left for us to do. We're just going to have to regroup and try to do something better next week. And it sucks. We have recruits in attendance okay. Step up with James Hand and run. 50 seconds left. Game's over. I mean, I'd say we were playing for pride, but there's nothing prideful about the way that this team played today. I don't think I saw the ball move forward once when we had it, and I saw it move forward plenty when Memphis was on offense. I'm not excited to see what we see in the stats after the game. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of disappointment in the passing game, and at this point, like, I don't know what the answer is, because we've been struggling no matter who we've been playing at quarterback. And once again, I am happy to accept the accountability for me struggling where I struggle, but to have things like this happen when we haven't really had any opportunities on offense, it stinks. Definitely stinks. So, their quarterback only threw for 150 yards today, 3 touchdowns. We walk out with a loss. So, let's take a look at the stats, see how disappointing it really is. Yeah, that's horrific. Okay. 13 of 32 for 154 yards and an interception. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say. That sucks. Nothing doing in the running game either. Memphis just shut us down completely. On the defensive side of the ball, Collins Achimpong had a pretty decent game with a couple tackles for loss and forcing a fumble and recovering it. And then our offense just can't do anything with it. So, offense still struggling pretty heavily in the sim. And at this point, our job might be in jeopardy if we can't start putting games together. Played great against Akron, and then we come out and get our asses spanked here. So, gotta pick it up, gotta move on. Roll on to next week. Hopefully we're up against an opponent that we maybe match up against better. So, new weird and strange thing happened. Ran out of disk space to continue recording. Had to fix that real quick. So, we are in week 8 now against Rice. We did secure a commitment from 3-star... who was it? It was one of the 3 stars we were going after. Where is he at? I gotta think of what his name was. I'm saying we gotta be joyful because last week was not. Yes, it was Demetrius Hester. So Demetrius Hester commits after a disappointing week from us last week. I can't believe that we somehow still can manage to get him into this stage, and we are going to hope that no one else starts coming after him. Otherwise, on the recruiting trail, we're not in good shape for Alex Rhodes after that performance. And as I was saying before I realized the recording had stopped, Devin Tootin and Greg Robbins, I think, might be heading towards their hometown schools since, you know, Michigan is right down the road from Bay City, and Fort Lauderdale is pretty close to Gainesville. So right down the road, and I feel like those guys might end up there. We're going to try to stay in it to the bitter end, but we're also going to try to prepare for the eventuality that they do not come back. So I'm going to take a look at the prospect list here, see if I can't find us some replacement options that we can be happy with, and then come back. Okay, so we are back. We have added Nolan Sanu, and as you can see, we've had to dip into the 2-star well at the tackle position here, because anybody else left in the tackle group is just going to be way. So we've added 2 new prospects to the board here. We've got 3-star Nolan Sanu, and as you can see, we've had to dip into the 2-star well in the tackle room, and we've added Lewis Gammon here. Anybody else that was left in the tackle group was just going to be expensive no matter what, so maybe we get lucky, we find a 2-star gem who ends up becoming something for us down the line. So we're going to go ahead and fully scout these guys. Now, Nolan Sanu is a halfback archetype I don't love particularly. He is slow as all get out, as slow as a bag of rocks rolling uphill, but I still think we go ahead and give him an offer. Just gotta have bodies, and if we don't end up with if we don't end up with Devin Tootin, then, you know, we just have to be okay with that. And Lewis Gammon also doesn't look like a bust. Not ready to offer him a scholarship quite yet, so we'll throw some hours at those guys. And for everybody else, I don't know if there's much else we can do as far as changing what we're doing with our strategy. I think for guys we're in good spots on, we don't need to change anything. And for guys that we are in a fight over, I mean, the only thing we can do is continue to maybe improve some of the solo grades we have by playing well. And we can maybe do that this week against this Rice team. They are 61 overall. I don't know why they are in the dark over there. That's interesting. Whatever that is, they'll be wearing that in this game. That's super interesting. But we need to come out today and we need to have a good game. Memphis was a tough team. I can understand that. But this game, we have no excuses. So let's see what team we get today. Here, away at Rice, we have a very important game today. We have to be able to start winning these conference games. We've already lost 2 of them, I believe. So we need to start winning some if we're going to be able to keep our job. Every game that we continue to struggle to put a team away is going to be another game that gets us closer to being off of this roster and looking for a new team. So really need to come out and show what we got today as we step out on the field already in the red zone. So good start. Can we make the most of it? As Tavoris Jones makes a great cut there. It gets us 8 yards. 2nd and 2 now. Once again, I think we've been able to open the playbook up more a little bit in the passing game as we're going to dump it off there to Jamel Hardy. Pick up the first down, put us inside the 5-yard line now. And it's really been nice having a more balanced attack where I can give the ball to my quarterback and say, let's try to go out there and make a play through the air, and instead of having to solely rely on the run game has been a huge luxury. Not to say that we don't like relying on our run game, as we're going to do exactly that as James Hand puts it through, and we are up 7-0 early against Rice. So very good start. Have to keep this kind of momentum up. We are on offense again and facing a 3rd and 4. We're going to come out here with a passing play. We've been really aggressive as far as letting James Madison go up and get shots downfield, but we're going to play it safe there, take the first down, and we get another 3rd and medium opportunity here. Let's see, once again, can we pick something up through the air? And no, I'm going to make the worst read ever. Oh, this is the kind of stuff that I have to avoid doing. We can't afford to shoot ourselves in the foot when we're already kind of struggling when I'm not in control of the offense. Hand off there on 3rd and long does work out, gets us inside the red zone, and can we capitalize now? 1st and goal from the 8. I'm going to hand the ball off, not going to give myself an opportunity to screw us out of a touchdown here. But eventually, I always come back to the passing game. We really want to be able to do both, and play action is not doing us any favors here. So 3rd and goal after taking a big sack. Man, this is the kind of stuff that shouldn't be happening against a team like this. We're going to put one in for Parker Fulgham, and he is going to score. Beautifully dropped pass from James Hand into the bucket there for Fulgham as Rice gets a safety on us. Very interesting. And we are in the red zone once again as we are starting to close out on the first half. So offensively and defensively, it looks like the team has come to play a little bit, as nothing doing there on that run. But no points on the board for Rice yet. Plenty of points on the board for us to feel comfortable about our position going into halftime. But 21-2 would sure look pretty nice, as we once again cannot find any space in the run game. 3rd and 9 now. Can we pick it up? Can we find something through the air? I don't see anything. We're going to step up. Hand tries to make somebody miss and cannot. So 4th and short here. Rice calls timeout. Very odd score to look at. Do we take the field goal or do we take the aggressive play? And I think we take the aggressive play. Pretty stacked box. So what if we... I want to see maybe if we want to play like so. What can we find as they bring the pressure and there's just nothing there. Every time we try to get aggressive, it has just shot us in the foot. I don't know. I don't know how much of it is just maybe I'm just not seeing the field like I should, but I mean, we hand the ball off there, they stuff us, and Rice is making a comeback in this game. I mean, once again, like even with a quarterback, I feel like we can make plays with. We are not getting separation with our receivers at critical moments. Luckily, we were able to get some separation on that one. But when it's mattered here, like moments down here in the red zone, we haven't been able to capitalize. Even the quick stuff that we would hope is open like that, and the defensive back reads my mind apparently and makes a miraculous break on the ball as Rice can't score it. We get the ball back. This game has been really frustrating. I mean, I feel like I've played like a bum today, and against the team where we should be winning by 20 plus points. Run game hasn't produced anything, at least when I've been controlling it. The passing game has had a couple of moments that have been positive, but then I immediately undo that by making a turnover. So I still think, once again, that James Hand is our best option at QB, but we have to continue to be able to put the team around him to succeed. We have a lot of players, I think, in the skill position rooms that are ready to compete at a high level, but up front in the trenches where the game really is won, we are not playing up to par. So very weird play there as we're going to toss it out to Amarion Peterson and get the first down. We're just kind of running the clock out at this point on the game. We're in good position. It's trying to tell us to kneel with 2 minutes left, but we're in good position. And I think at the end of the day, a win is a win, even if it's a 14-9, very ugly offensive showing with multiple turnovers that affect our turnover margin this year. But it's a win, and we need as many of those as we can get in the conference this year, as we will take the knee and walk out of here with a win. James Hand shaking his head at the end of the game. He looks disappointed with his performance. Once again, I'm more disappointed in the way that I played. He threw the ball 31 times for 250 yards today. I think that's a pretty solid performance. He does throw for a touchdown and 2 picks. He also runs a touchdown in as well, I believe. And we also had just not a great game from either of our running backs. So I really think it does boil down to when our run game is struggling, everything struggles. And on the defensive side of the ball, how are we looking? Not too much going on. So really ugly game, all things considered, but a win nonetheless. And now we can march into the last week of this episode. Some confidence in our belt. A conference win now under our belt as well. One game closer to being able to complete the 80 expectations and earn us another year to continue building our program. And we move on to week 9 now. So we are going to see some recruitment news as we get a verbal commitment from Ezekiel Davis, a 3-star from Cyprus. So good update there in that sense, as okay. So I guess Stanford has been recruiting him just without, okay. Man, recruiting is tough. All right, so week 9 against 1-6 Tulsa. We have vengeance on our mind against Tulsa after the performance we had against them last season. Looks like we might be able to do just that, but who knows. So let's get our practice set up and take a look at recruiting. Okay, so we've looked through recruiting, and things are just strange. We're in a variety of different spots. Jawan Mayer has Army coming after him pretty heavily again, so we're going to continue to throw some points down. And it left us with not a ton, so we're going to leave things the way they are this week. As we can see, where is he? Greg Robbins has verbally committed to Michigan, and I'm sure that recruitment is just about over. But once again, we're going to stay until that becomes a hard commitment and call it a day. But that leaves us with one last game for this episode against Tulsa. So Tulsa was a team that I thought we were going to come out against last year and put up a dominant performance and finish out our season 6-6, make us bowl eligible. And we came out and had a abysmal performance against this team, and we didn't end up making anything. So vengeance is on my mind. Gotta play out of my mind and redeem the performance we had last season. We find ourselves in Tulsa. Big game today. We have revenge on our mind. We need to win some games. Tulsa is an American opponent just like any other, and we need to come out and we need to be able to get this win today. They whipped our butt last year. We were only able to put up 10 points on them, and I don't like the fact that we are on defense to start here. Big third down. They're going to hand off. He's going to break a tackle, but we do manage to make the stop. So we do hold them on their first drive, and we are going to be given the reins on offense. I swear they only give us this opportunity when we're like inside the 10-yard line to start, but we are going to hand off to Tavoris Jones here to begin, and that is a 5-yard gain to start the drive. So what is our strategy here? Do we come out and try to throw the football some? Do we try to come out and establish the run? I think we go for a little bit of both here as we complete a short one to Parker Fulgham. First down again. Once again, we're going to hand off to Tavoris Jones. And he is going to burst forward and get a 6 this time. Haven't seen DJ Dugar take a carry yet. He's there in the backfield on this one. Is the RPO going to be open? It looks like it might be. And Jamel Hardy is able to burst forward to get us another first. Happy to just eat some of the clock in this first quarter. Establish our offense, run the plays we want as long as we keep moving the ball in the right direction. Hand off to Dugar there, where our tight end on the edge could not seal that block, so we do not get the kind of play we were hoping for. 2nd and 8 here. Maybe we run something play action. They're playing it pretty tight, so we'll step up with James Hand and secure the first. Always more than happy to step up and run with our mobile quarterback. So 1st and 10 again. I'm not liking the look of the coverage they've got on our receivers, so we're going to play a run here as we hand off to Dugar, and I see a little bit of space for him to move, and he is going to rip off a quite hefty chunk, get us a first down. Now we cross into Tulsa's half of the field. 1st and 10. Fulgham open on the drag, and we're going to drop it off to him once again. Keep ripping off these short chunks on this drive. We are in no hurry to score the ball. As long as we keep moving forward, we are in good shape. Hand off to Dugar again here on 2nd and 3, and once again, we continue to be able to get these firsts down at a steady clip. Let's see if we can set up an RPO. We are able to get the pass out to Fulgham. Our other receiver out there on the edge, Jamel Hardy, not able to keep on his man. So not much doing after the catch there. With some more talented receivers, we might be able to turn that into something fully. Sending the man in motion here. And we're going to drop back. I don't see anything, but the offensive line's collapsing, but he's going to break the tackle. And he is going to be able to get forward for 6 yards as a Tulsa player looks like they are injured on the ground here. So 3rd and 3. A decision to make. Do we go with the run? Maybe we try to get the read option going. Interesting setup for the defense. So we're going to hand off to Dugar Jr., and he is going to burst forward for a first down. Inside the red zone now. Opportunity to come out of this big drive with points. We've been pushing the ball since back at the 2 or 8 yard line. 92 yards down the field now on the other end. And can we close this drive out with some points? Handoff to Dugar Jr. again. And now we find ourselves on the 5. I think Josh Gilbreth is someone we went after in the transfer portal this offseason. That name sounds familiar. 2nd and goal on the 5. Can we get the RPO? They play the pass heavily, and Dugar Jr. is going nowhere. So, just like I feel like we've been in, or the situation we've been in 50 times so far to start this season, we're 3rd and goal, and can we walk away with points? We have had the ball for the majority of this first quarter, so Tulsa hasn't done a ton on offense themselves. But all of this might not matter if we can't walk away with points right here. 3rd and goal. Looking to pass. Man wide open. It's Jamel Hardy. Is it coming back, or is that roughing the passer? I think it's roughing the passer, and it sure is. So touchdown Roadrunners. So have struggled to come away with points in these situations a lot of the time so far this season. However, this time we do walk away with 7. So next moment here is us on offense again. 3rd down. Maybe we take a shot here as Jamel Hardy has one-on-one on the left side. We're going to throw it up, and it is caught! Touchdown, Roadrunners. So the passing game, which has been incredibly disappointing before James Hand took the reins, now producing just a little bit. Beautifully dropped pass here right in the bucket over the defense, and we walk away with the touchdown. So perfect time to take a shot there. One-on-one coverage on the edge, and we will take that every time. So second quarter winding down, up 14-0, 3rd down. We're going to run the ball with Dugar, and our offensive lineman eviscerates a secondary defender and gives us some more space. And now we find ourselves inside the red zone. Still plenty of time to run the ball now. So we'll hand off to Tavoris Jones here. He's going to avoid the center getting pushed back and burst forward for 4. Good offensive performance, good offensive showing so far. It's nice to see what we can do when the game actually gives us a little bit of an opportunity to control our team. 3rd and 7 now. We can get the first without having to score. So let's try to be smart. As I see Parker Fulgham wide open in the end zone, though, and he is going to catch another touchdown for this UTSA Roadrunner offense. Offense operating on all cylinders in this game, and that's exactly what we needed if we were going to be successful. Tulsa does finally manage to get down inside the end zone, and we find ourselves in 3rd and 4 now. 2.5 minutes or so left in the 3rd quarter, and we're going to hand off to DJ Dugar Jr., and he's only going to pick up 2. We now have a choice here. They want us to go for it on 4th, and you don't have to tell me twice. So 4th down. James Hand's going to roll out, seeing nothing, and he'll just step up and get us the first himself. So that's the kind of play we love seeing out of our dual threat, and we get another score. So up big now in this game. Big-time performance in a big game for us. Every conference game matters extra, especially with our job kind of being on the line as Tulsa is able to find the end zone once again. So game's getting a little bit close now here in the 4th. We are in the red zone again. So can we produce some more points and close this game out for ourselves? We're going to hand off to Amarian Peterson here. I don't like the fact that he's in the game. Are we dealing with an injured player, perhaps? 3rd and 5 now. Going to go back to the well. We've had plenty of success passing the ball, and we'll drop it off to Jamel Hardy again, but we will not be able to pick up the first. At this point in the game, I think we can take the field goal. Every point counts in a late game. And let's take the 3. So 17-point game now. Tulsa would have to put up a very impressive comeback at this point to be back in it, but I won't put anything past the Heisman CPU. So 4th down now. Can we make the stop? He's going to throw it deep for his guy, but it is going to be right to Lawrence Brown Jr., and I think that might just about seal it in our favor. They're going to hand us reins of the offense as we hit the 2-minute timeout. Essentially, they're asking us to seal this game for our squad. Tulsa has not started using their timeouts yet, so a first down would end this game essentially unless they start using them now, but we do pick up the first down. I don't see them calling timeouts. We are in the red zone, but I think it's time for us to run the clock out on this game. So, perfect performance, I would say, to end this video from the squad, as DJ Dugard Jr. has had himself a 100-plus yard day. And I am excited to see how the passing game did. I did see a couple interceptions from James Hand. That's all right. Once again, we're dealing with a true freshman quarterback who's got to learn the offense a little, got to get comfortable in the system, and has to learn against college talent. But 31 points against Tulsa, where last year we were only able to put up 10, is huge improvement. And so we find ourselves at 500 again. And let's take a look at the stats if I can stop pressing view highlights. So looking at the stats here this game, yeah, James Hand, 18 of 25 today for 234 and 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but I am willing to overlook that highly efficient day despite the turnovers, and we had their quarterback in hell. 8 of 23 for 78 yards is definitely a tough look. Now, how did we do on the ground as well? That's Tulsa, not us. I hate when this happens. So DJ Dugard Jr., obviously 125 yards on the ground. James Hand ran the ball 10 times for 43 yards. Tavoris Jones did not see many carries today. And in the receiving games, Jamel Hardy had himself a big game, catching 7 catches for 102 and 2. Parker Fulgham also brought in 2 touchdowns today, and James Madison, rare non-factor in this game, only bringing in 2 passes. On the defensive side of the ball, it looks like we weren't doing anything too crazy as far as sacks or turnovers, but we were just able to play, I think, a solid game, keep Tulsa's offense from being able to put anything together long term, and we were able to walk out with a victory. So positive progress to say the least in our efforts here. Back to 500, and we can walk into week 10 against Temple, a key week for us as far as recruiting, with 2 wins in a row behind our back. So I think, despite the fact that the episode started out rough, we have ended on a great note as we get even more good news as Demetrius Hester is now a hard commit to our school. And, okay, so a couple of other more disappointing bits of news, but we'll cover that at the start of next episode. So if you did enjoy today's video, please leave a like and comment and subscribe. It helps little channels like mine grow. I always enjoy you guys coming and hanging out with me while I suffer through each of these games. And we've got a lot to work for next game against Temple. So I will see you guys the next time we hop on in. Take care.